right, Frugal friends, it's my favorite time of the month. It's how much money did I save this month and what are the tricks I used to save. All right, I got 9 strategies for you this month. They're all different than the ones I talked about last month. As is now tradition, we will start with the things that saved me the smallest amounts of money and work our way down to the really big juicy ones. Number 1, this month I did a lot more line drying, only of big items, because with all my tiny humans in this house, I do not really feel like line drying every single tiny baby sock. No, thank you. We're closing up the house for the winter. I was flipping over like a lot of like bedding and blankets and like big bulky sweatshirts and stuff. So I estimate it was like once a week. So about 4 extra loads of line dried laundry instead of putting it in the dryer, using the wattage of my clothes dryer times the kilowatt hour cost of energy here where I am, which is about 9 cents a kilowatt hour. What it is for everybody else's, that'd be interesting to find out. So doing that math, I saved a grand total of 75 cents this month by line drying 4 extra loads of clothing. So not a big source of savings there, but I wanted to find out what it would be. I had to do the math and I had to tell you guys. All right, next we did a basement clean out. I'm going to talk about this in 2 parts. First part is the savings on trash costs. So here where I live, we have a pay per throw garbage trash system. So every trash bag we use, it has to be the one we purchase provided by the city. So each bag costs us roughly $1.81. So we did have to throw some things away. Some things in the basement were just garbage. They had to get out. But I calculated about 4 trash bags worth of garbage by spending my time to sell them on Facebook Marketplace, donate them, find another friend who had need of some of my things. So I estimated I saved 4 trash bags worth, which calculates to $7.25 of savings. Next, I think I've talked about this before, but I had to recently recreate my giant mix of homemade cocoa. I used to buy this really fancy schmancy store-bought cocoa mix. And then I realized, I think I talked about this in a video, I'll link it up there if I can find it. I realized that it was basically just more sugar. I realized that I could make mine taste just as good as the store-bought if I just added more sugar. So I started doing that. And I calculated the savings this month. If I was still buying the fancy cocoa mix that I liked, I would have been spending $13.78 a month on cocoa mix, which seems kind of like a lot. But if I make my own cocoa mix that I am still enjoying as much now, I only have to purchase cocoa at $2.48 and a bag of powdered sugar at 98 cents. So that is a $10.32 savings. I actually have it right here. Next, here in the lovely state of Maine, we have 5-cent deposits on cans and bottles. You can either like go to a redemption facility where you can put in each individual bottle that you want the 5 cents for, and it'll count it for you, and then you get the money. Or there is a service called Clink, and you can buy the bags, so that's a little bit less savings, but you buy the bags and you put all the bottles in the bags and you give them to the Clink people and they do all the counting for you. It saves a ton of time, which I don't have that time to do the individual bottle things right now. So I'm happy to pay for that service and get a little bit less in savings. It also takes us a really long time to accumulate any money because we don't drink soda. Like, we're not big soda drinkers. We don't have just like bottles coming out the wazoo. But I finally got to cash out my Clink account and I had $13.95 to my name from Clink. So thank you, Clink people. Next, I mentioned this in my last Aldi grocery haul video, but I had $20 that I had been sitting on in my Fetch Rewards account. Fetch and I have a love-hate relationship. It used to be a lot better back when they were like trying to get to know me. They were just throwing all kinds of money my way, so I would keep wanting to use their app. And now they realized I'm kind of cheap and I buy only the generics and not the name brand products. They just don't give me as many offers anymore or something. I don't know if that's actually how it works, but it's definitely the experience I've had. It's taken me like a whole year of taking pictures of my receipts to earn this $20. I don't think I'll continue to use it in the future because it's not worth the brain space to remember to take the picture. But I enjoyed this month having $20 to cash out, and that went toward Thanksgiving dinner. So thank you, Fetch. Here's an interesting one. So I am a fan of off-season purchases. So when it's wintertime, purchasing summer things that the stores are just trying to clearance out because they need the inventory space. And so they'll deeply discount things that are off-season. So I have a favorite brand of shoes. We're more willing in our family to spend money on quality products that like connect you to the ground. So beds, shoes, tires for your car, because those are the kind of things that are going to get so much wear and tear, and the more quality you can buy them, the longer lasting they'll be. And you kind of get more for your money in those things rather than buying like a quality lamp. So I have a favorite brand of shoes. They were having a 70% off sale on their off-season things, and I have been wearing the same pair of flip-flops for 4 years now. They are literally ripping in half. I'm purchasing a new pair of summer sandals and buying on the off-season quality brand. I saved $48 on my sandals. I was very, very excited about that. All right, now we're really getting into the good ones. So I mentioned that we cleaned out the basement, and I mentioned that we sold things on Marketplace. So I actually got to count how much I made. 40, 45, 65, $165 from selling things on Marketplace. So 100 of it was a set of 4 tires, and then the rest of it was clothes. You know, after 3 kids, we kind of have a good sense of what is actually useful when having a baby. So we sold off a few things that we know, even if we have more children, we're never going to use. Yeah, so pretty good haul, and it's very helpful with Christmas coming. Second from the last, so 1 year ago, I did some insurance shopping because I had a sense that we were paying too much for car and home insurance. So it turns out we super duper were, mostly because I had had a couple car accidents more than 5 years ago, but my old insurance just hadn't changed their rates, even though that was like now off my radar. So when I went around and I shopped for new rates, I looked like a pristine driver because the accidents were past that like 5-year window. I haven't had any accidents in that time. My husband hasn't had any accidents in that time. We drive older cars now. We're both working from home. Like, there were a lot of reasons that our insurances went way down. And just because that's how these things work, we bundled our home insurance in with it. But my mortgage company is a beast to deal with. Their customer service is horrible. So in the whole last year, I haven't seen any of the savings that I knew I technically had earned from switching homeowners insurance. We saved on the car insurance right away. We've been saving all along. But the homeowners insurance, because it's tied up in escrow and mortgage payments, and we haven't actually seen any of those savings. So this month, we were surprised by a check for $310.81, which is how much we saved over the last 12 months because we had new homeowners insurance. It was a huge blessing, and let me tell you why. I want to be clear when I show all of these ways I've saved money. It's not like I now have all of this money now just sitting in the bank, just happily, merrily growing along. Like we're saving money on some things because life is more expensive. I don't know if you've noticed that. But it's really expensive in 2023, almost 2024. We save as much as we can. So the story specifically is about cars. We have a sinking fund for car repair because that is a known thing. We know eventually the cars are going to need maintenance, or they're going to break down, they're going to need a new part. We know that will happen. There is no magical land in which my car just runs forever perfectly. Like, that doesn't happen. So we save money every month toward this future expense we know is coming. However, I think I mentioned this in my video on how we got out of debt, but we both bought new cars when we started being young adults because that's what someone told us was a good idea. And so we've never had to pay for older car maintenance. This car, the minivan we got to cart around all these children, it's like more than 10 years old. So, it needs maintenance, but I had no idea how expensive maintenance is. So we have not been putting enough into this sinking fund for car maintenance. We had a big hole, like there was like an $800 gap in what amount we've saved and how much the van needed this month to pay for, to do all the maintenance required to get a new inspection sticker. And a few things happened this month, we didn't have to go to an appointment, and so we could save that money. And we found a few places in the budget to work around, but then we were like, there's like a $400 or $500 gap. And we've got an emergency fund, so we knew we could pull from that. We talked about, we are so blessed, because we aren't trying to figure out if we are going to feed our children this month or pay for the car bill. It's just about which category of the savings are we taking the money from to make this urgent and necessary purchase, which is a huge blessing. But because I got the $100 from the tires that I sold on Marketplace, and because we got this $310.81 check in the mail, we had the money we needed to bridge that gap and make the payment to repair our minivan so we can have a legal car to cart around our children, which was a huge blessing. And I don't know if you're a religious person, but I fully believe that God provides. But finally, if you've noticed that all of the numbers I've mentioned up to this point have not added up to the giant number you saw in the thumbnail, there is a reason for that. It's open enrollment time for health insurance. Yay, everybody's favorite. And you can just click, yes, I just want the same thing I have, we'll just move on with our life. But my husband was a very, very smart person. And he's like, I'm just gonna listen to the little webinar, whatever it was, and read through the paperwork they give me. And my husband found something. So we have a few big medical expenses that we know are coming up in 2024. We know we have to spend the money on this. But my husband found that we actually have access to an FSA, which is fantastic. That's a flexible savings account. And, we can put money in pre-tax, his employer can put money in, and if we utilize that to pay for this medical cost we have coming up, it'll save us $500 between employer stuff and the amount of savings we'll have through pre-tax dollars as opposed to post-tax dollars, which that's big. $500 is big. So it's not money that I technically hit our account this month, but we started it. And so I'm so super grateful. If it's open enrollment time for you, read the fine print if you can, do the math, figure out which of the plans is best. If you've got access to FSAs or HSAs, those are very useful plans if you can. All total, that is a savings of $1,076.08. Yay! I got that. If you want to hear more about how me and my husband discuss finances and how we make money work in our marriage, even though we have some very different philosophies on marriage, I will send you to this video next and you can listen to us gab. And there may or may not be a secret bonus video linked at the end of that one. So you can go ahead and check that out. Bye, YouTube.